Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Brian B, Take-the-Time-Collectibles. I'm going to do something a little different today, something I have mentioned before, something that needs to be done. Not going to be the happy-go-lucky video I normally have, but I think this message needs to get out there and consumers need to know the retailer side of things, what we deal with to attempt to get them their books and get them in decent shape. So this is going to be called Diamond Damages. Diamond has had and continues to have a very, very substantial problem getting us books in quality condition. There's no way to sugarcoat it. It's just terrible. It's 90% preventable. We've told them for years how to address the situation, what to change to avoid the problem, and they simply refuse to do it. They have a monopoly right now. They're not overly concerned with customer service. They care about numbers and that's it. And we've got nowhere else to go. But my hope is that you'll see this, you'll share it. Maybe other retailers will see it and get behind it. Maybe someone from the higher up in Diamond will see it and realize it's time to do something, because the solution is very easy. But anyway, I'm going to start off. I apologize ahead of time. I'm doing this spur of the moment, so some of this isn't going to be the most professional quality. I'm using my cell phone, using some props. Lighting's not going to be the greatest. Audio may not be great either, but we're going to roll with what we have. I want to get this out there, and I put it off for too long. I owe you guys a haul video. It's been a couple weeks. I've been busy between 4th of July, a midnight release for the Batman 50, and this week we got the Florida SuperCon coming up, so lots going on. Anyway, we're going to start with a visual aid. You'll see in a second when I move behind me, I have a dolly set up proportionately to the dolly UPS uses. And the concept is they pull up at the curb, they have a stairwell leading down from their truck. They'll put the dolly at the base of the stairwell and they'll drop their packages down onto the dolly and wheel them in instead of carrying them in. I'll show you an example in a minute of what's actually in a standard box from Diamond, but this how-to or tutorial I'm about to show you is basically what happens every Wednesday when UPS shows up with my books, my weekly shipment, and what they have. They have a large Diamond box which has 2 small Diamond boxes inside of it, and this is where 90% of the damage occurs, because the weight of the box is between 40 and 60 pounds. UPS doesn't want to carry it around. They want to do as little with it as possible, and as you'll see in a second, it's pretty easy to see where the damages come in. So anyway, here's a little reenactment. Pretend I'm the UPS driver for a second here. And I've just pulled up in my truck. This is my dolly. I've got it at the base of the stairs. Here's a package from Phil's Comics. Oh my God, it's 60 pounds. I don't want to carry this thing. Set it on my dolly and boom. Now, that's an empty box to illustrate. It wouldn't bounce like that, but you see what happens. One corner is going to get smashed every time. And here's where the problems begin. I'm going to show you a little more detail what's in that box and tell you how to fix it. But we got a couple other things to look at first. I didn't say so already. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July holiday. I had fun with the family and my girlfriends. It was good times, and I hope you did as well. Anyway, getting back to it here. What you see behind me is a box, a Diamond box. It's a Diamond box full of damaged books. These are books from the past 3 months. And yeah, you see trades in there too. When what happens with UPS, I just demonstrated happens, doesn't matter what's in the box, anything on that corner is going to get destroyed. And there's more. We've got a stack here, got a stack here. That's from the last 3 months. Seems pretty bad, right? Now let's look at the last 3 weeks. It's just inexcusable. It's out of control. It's been that way for a while. Well, like I said, he's already packed thousands of books a week. Stuff's going to happen. This is somebody not paying attention, but I can live with this. I expect it. It's part of what goes on. What I can't live with and what I can't deal with is when 60% of my shipment shows up damaged, because they being Diamond, refused to protect the corners in the boxes. And that's all you have to do. You protect the corners and 90% of damages go away entirely. And I'm going to show you how the books are packed right now and what they can do to change it to solve the problem pretty easily. So this is your large Diamond box. This is the one I demonstrated with. I'm going to open it up for you so you can see what it looks like. Like I said, this is what the majority of our weekly shipment shows up in. They weigh between 40 and 60 pounds on average when they're done. So you see, got the large box, and inside of the large box you have two short boxes. Now, the problem with this scenario is this right here. So you got these corners, and the corners of the interior box align with the corners of the exterior box. So if anything happens to this corner, guess what? It's happening to this one too. That's where most of your damages happen. Like I said, these are empty boxes here, but I'm just going to show you what it would look like. So this is your small Diamond box. You'll have a piece of cardboard in the bottom, cover up the flaps, and then you'll have 2 rows of books. Okay, naturally I grabbed an adult book by mistake, so we're not going to put that one in, but okay. So you got 2 rows of books. It would be hopefully filled to the top. You have a divider in between like that. That's how your typical Diamond box, medium Diamond box is packed. So we have 2 of those inside the big box, and that's how we get our shipment. I showed you the corners are exposed. That's a problem. So here's how we fix the problem. Without ordering anything new, without changing what they have on hand, they probably ordered thousands and thousands and thousands of these boxes. I understand they need to use them. But here's how we reduce the weight, protect the corners, and get the books here safe. We take the medium Diamond box, 1, not 2, and we put it inside of the large Diamond box, centered, with none of the corners touching the outside of the box, like so. Okay? Then we're going to use whatever you want. You can use packing peanuts. I'm going to use packing paper. Here. So you get the idea now. The box is centered. None of the corners are exposed. Now, obviously, I need a little more packing paper on the one side, but this is just to give the concept. So we seal that up. And now, Mr. UPS can do whatever he wants to the corners of this box. He can play soccer with them. You can drop them on the ground. You can throw rocks at them. It doesn't matter, because you can smash this corner in approximately 3.5 inches before you reach the other box. So you're going to have to do some serious damage to the outer box before you can even get to the inner box. And on top of that, this box is lighter. It's now going to be 35 pounds, 25 pounds. And UPS is a lot more likely to carry this box than to throw it onto the dolly or chuck it around. So that's a simple solution for that. Going back to the stack of damages I showed you. Let's say it's Wednesday, or we get our shipments on Tuesday. They get released to the public on Wednesday. But we get our shipment on Tuesday, and I'm opening the box, and whatever book, X-Men number 6003 is the hottest book of the week. And I have 35 copies that are damaged. Oh no, I run to the phone or I go to my email and I contact my rep at Diamond. And I say, I need these books for tomorrow. It's the hottest books of the week. I need to get these overnighted to me because I gotta have them. And they say, oh, I'm sorry that happened. I understand. And I love our rep. I'm not going to say who they are, but they work their butt off and they take a lot of crap that they shouldn't have to take. But they give you the company line, and then they call a higher up and ask for permission to overnight. And while they're on the phone or email or whatever they're doing to get permission, time is going by, time's going by, time's going by. 90% of the time, and it's not often they do, if they do agree to send something overnight, the window in which to do so has already passed. But if they do, let's say they agree, they agree to overnight these 30 copies to me. The way they're going to do it, I'm going to introduce you to a new friend here. This is a small diamond box. I'll show you a scale in a second. But this is what 80% of reorders and damage and shortage replacements come in. And to show you the scale, there's the medium diamond box I showed you before. This is the small diamond box. Now what happens with a small diamond box, as you can see with the other one, is there's nothing protecting the books from the corner. It's as tight can be. You take this book, we put it inside the box, and there's no protection at all. So it's just bouncing around the whole way. Not good. And the corners, as you see this nice triangle right here, that used to be a corner, whatever came in this box was damaged, are exposed again. And these boxes are lighter, they're smaller, UPS will throw them around, whatever. So once again, the solution is pretty simple. Not rocket science here, protect the corners. So we take the small diamond box, we put it inside of the medium diamond box, much like we did with the medium inside a large, and you end up with this. Sorry. So you got no corners exposed, space between the box, and rinse and repeat. You take the packing paper, I'm not going to do it again, you get the concept. You put packaging paper around it, the corners are protected, you can throw the box gets beat up, the outer box doesn't matter because the inner box is protected, the corners aren't exposed, we don't get the damages. There's nothing more annoying than getting your books overnighted to you that were damaged in the first place, or even if they're not overnighted, they're sent to you and you get them in 3 days, and guess what, they're all damaged again. So the customers that came looking for them Wednesday that you told to come back on Friday now have to come back again on Monday and hope that we're not repeating the process for a third time. Which leads me to my next concept of problem with this, which is the paperwork involved. It's ridiculous. So I get a reorder today, for example, and I'm going through my reorder. Here's my reorder. And I've got a list of things that are supposed to be in the box, hopefully they are, and I've got things that are damaged. So to mark what's here, quantities of how many, whatever, and then I either have to get on the phone with my rep or I have to email my rep, tell them what was damaged, what quantities were there, what was short, what quantities there, wait for them to respond to me with what may or may not still be available and when I'll get it, so on and so forth. So I do that. And then the scenario I just explained happens where I get one of those small diamond boxes 2 days from now and they're all damaged again. So I get back on the phone with Diamond, do the same process again. Now I get my invoice for next week, which has the same line item on it 3 times. I'm billed for it, I'm credited for it, I'm shipped again, and then I'm credited for it again. It's a nightmare trying to keep track of all this stuff. And we have to do it repeatedly. Then the next problem comes up. Well, what do I do with all these damaged books? Eventually, Diamond's going to want them back, or at least the covers. A lot of times they don't have us send the whole books back. So I have to store these books. How long do I have to store them? Well, that depends. Sometimes a couple weeks, sometimes a couple months. But you have to keep them accessible in order, because one day you're going to get one of these sheets and it says please return, and it doesn't say take your time. It says send these in 14 days or you will be billed for these items. So remember all those boxes I showed you at the beginning? I have to keep those on hand, and I have to keep them some kind of order so that when I get one of these lovely sheets, which I hate to death, I can go pull the items, strip the covers, or put the books in a box and mail them back to Diamond. It's ridiculous. It's bad enough I have to deal with the harassment of calling these in, not having them, telling customers I don't have them, record keeping, but now I have to store these things too. And not only store them, but store them where they're accessible, because I never know when a return sheet's going to show up. So it's a whole nother set of problems. And it's just as bad for my rep. My rep has to do the same thing. They have to keep track of all the stuff I call in. I'm sure they dread me calling as much as I dread opening the boxes now. So it's an epidemic. It's been going on for a while. It's been increasingly worse of late. In fact, the latest example, last Tuesday, July 3rd, we were supposed to do a midnight release for Batman number 50 with multiple covers, one of which was a Jim Lee cover, which, as you can imagine, was very popular with people everywhere except here because I did not have any. Diamond shorted me my entire allocation of them, and with July 4th being a holiday, I did not get them until Friday. Now, most of my customers were pretty cool about it, but I'd advertised for a week plus that I was going to have 3 covers available for the midnight release. Some first-time customers came in and were disappointed. It's just ridiculous that that kind of quantity of the hottest book of the week would be left out of a box. That shouldn't happen, and I don't blame the pickers. Diamond hires people off the street who don't know anything about comic books, and they go to a bin and they pull what's in the bin and they do what they're told. But I blame the warehouse manager. And I don't know who that person is. I'd love to have a conversation with them, a meaningful conversation, not just to lambast them, but to try and resolve the issues that are going on there because they're constant and frustrating. But anyway, I've gone on longer than you probably cared to hear. You get an idea of what's going on, what we have to deal with. Diamond, or anybody who works for Diamond, if you see this, please, please, please share it with somebody who might actually care. This is very, very simple. I understand the cost of shipping will go up for us. Believe me, as retailers, we don't care. It's much, much, much better to pay a few dollars and get stuff the way it's supposed to arrive than to deal with all this other stuff and storing damages and keeping track of records and praying to God that the replacements come in decent shape and stuff being back ordered that wasn't available, that we never got in the first place. I still don't have Captain America #1 Alex Ross covers from last week either. They're now back ordered. They left them out of my order initially, then they left them out of my replacement order. So they get an A for consistency. But anyway, I want it to be informative. I didn't want to be negative. The whole situation's negative, but it can be better. It can be fixed. It can be fixed pretty easily. So share this with people who you think care, would benefit from knowing, and I'll do something much more happy and enjoyable in my next video. I owe you guys a haul and some other stuff. So thanks for watching. Have a great night.